my intention today is to get this curtain rod up in this area somewhere. We originally experimented with some ideas down here, and there's a little light bleed when it was pitch dark. And so at this point we are thinking about, so I should point out that I'm trying to do this without any permanent modifications to the coach as best I can, so not putting screw holes here or doing anything too harsh to this area. So my current thinking is, I went exploring, and this is a false wall, and the only problem so far with my first idea is that it feels like it's not so false right here in the corner. And this on this side is also a false wall. I'd already pulled this off. So what I'm thinking right now is I could make a bracket, fabricate a bracket that slides behind this false wall, and there's enough tension there, I think, and I can make the bracket as thick as I want to give it some tension, but I think it'll hold there. And then on this side, I'll probably have to do something that comes down and then goes down into the false wall down here, because this doesn't feel like there's any space behind here to do such a thing. And then my thinking is because it's a bit heavy once there's curtains on it, I think I can sneak a bracket behind this and still allow space for this to open, and screw a mounting bracket right here. So you don't see it, but and it basically wraps this and goes up behind this cabinet opening, and if I'm lucky, it'll then hold and support the rod in the middle, still allowing it to flow. So we'll see how that goes. Here's what I'm thinking for the brackets. So I threw together these real quick, and specifically I made these, I'm hoping they print where they're really tight on the ends. The idea is kind of to grab this section of the curtain rod, and then I'm hoping to use this little stem on the curtain rod to prevent it from going forward and backwards, so to add some strength. So what you see in this section is what I hope gives it vertical strength. I made the borders of this 2 millimeters, and I'm hoping that's thick enough plastic that makes it pretty strong. This flat piece here, I don't have accurate measurements of what's behind the wall, so I'm having to guesstimate. So I'm hoping this fits behind the wall really snug, and I won't have to do anything other than push it back there. And then the only thing I see that I may have to change on this side is I might want to slowly increase the angle here, which will shove into the wall. But I'm going to try with this one first and see if it works out, and then go from there. So my here's the printed results of my first experiment. This is just a flat sheet of plastic. This would be the left side, and if I measured it correctly, this should fit snug on here. It does. So this will hold it from going this way or that way. And then this left one, it'll slide into the left one also. So far so good. So, and then this particular rod has a lot of tension here and will expand and contract as necessary. So I think we can expand it into these, and I still need to come up with something to hold it in the center, but let's see what happens. So first, I am gonna see what happens if I put this bracket up here on the right. So right now I'm not gonna put anything other than just allow tension here. It does fit nice and snug, and so far so good. So that pushes as much as I need to right up against the corner. No screws, don't even have tape yet, and that is pretty snug. That might hold quite a bit of weight. So let's try this other side. So this other side is pretty tight. Let's see if I can get this in here. That is going to be snug. I'm a little concerned about how flimsy this is. I might modify this left one a little bit to allow it to fit a little bit more behind the wall and allow the wall to act as some amount of tension for this. But actually, once it's pushed in here, man, that's pretty tight. That might work just fine without it. So let's see what happens when I hang the rod up here. It's a little flimsy here in the middle, so I'm definitely going to go ahead and try and fabricate a bracket for the middle after all. But this would hold a curtain already. It would just have a little bit of sag, nothing we would notice. And no screws, just using the tension of the wall here. These brackets hold it really well. So yeah, I might, I could extend the plastic on this bracket out some more if I wanted to give it some more durability, but frankly, I'm not sure we're going to need it. This looks like my first try might already work. So my other brackets worked out, so now I'm working on the middle bracket, and I'm hoping this simple Z will print out. I measured the width of the cabinet to see how much I could squeeze through without taking it down, and it looks to be about 1/4 of an inch and an eighth of an inch thick. So I've made this lip here, hoping it'll extend enough for to reach the curtain, and then I put a tiny little pilot hole here just to get my screws started. And so anyway, I'm going to take this out there and see how it works out. All right, now we have our bracket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wedge it up into here. I'm going to get it to stick. And then I already seated a hole for it to mount into right here. So hopefully it holds up the center of the railing. Let's see what happens. All right, this project is done. So without any screws, or one screw, and we have the curtain mounted on the left, on the right, and then this is holding the tension up. And the way I pulled that off is I made this custom bracket here that screws in right here. Doesn't impede the door, and all it took was one screw. And this thing is nice and solid. So now we can hang any curtain we want off of these, and we can still pull it away and get into this door. And yeah, cool. And now the final product. You can't even see the brackets. They're white and blend right in. And the curtain flows smoothly. And this bracket holds up the center just fine. That one, so yeah, no screws. That's all just by tension, and this is holding it all up. And it's really, really sturdy.